Okay, welcome to the channel, and today we'll be talking about the Thalia by Erzetich, and they are not asking me to say or do anything other than my honest opinion regarding these lovely little headphones. And yeah, so let's dive right into the build of these headphones. The build overall, I would say, is a very industrial DIY kind of build. It's got a kind of like a spring steel headband here, and it's a lot of kind of nuts and bolts kind of deal, and it's all very, well put together. Like, I'm not worried about the build of these in the sense of it breaking or falling apart or anything like that, and it's easily repairable, pretty industrial that way, right? And you can, mess with the spring steel band here to get it to be the clamp force you like. Hardware here, it's a kind of a screw tight or loosen to basically get the cups to go up and down on the headband. Build is solid. The pads are, soft enough. They're a pleather kind of build, so nothing, too crazy, and you can take them off. There's a little metal band in here that you can, get them situated on and off. Maybe look for some aftermarket pads here and there if you can find the right size. I haven't really looked or anything like that. The overall solid wood build as well, like the wood doesn't feel, like it's polished. It's built very well, or, they did a good job of cutting it out of the blocks that they were using and shaping it and, sanding it down and putting a nice coat on there. The cable that it comes with is a fairly decent silver cable. It's very thin, and that kind of goes into what these are meant to be used for, which is more of a portable kind of a on-ear headphone, and that's what these are, is an on-ear headphone. Basically, they go on, and once you have these set in place for the build, like they're there and you don't have to think about it. You just put them on your head and they go. And there's not really the most, they don't fold up or anything like that. It's pretty much this, and you can turn them sideways to basically make them fit into a case potentially. You can kind of squeeze them a little bit together, and that's pretty much the build. The aesthetics is going to be very hit or miss. It's a it's a industrial DIY design, and the wood and metal is, I'm a big fan of ZMS, so I love the wood and metal kind of aesthetic, and this does actually do kind of like the aesthetically, I do find this, like, cut out and the way the wood is and everything, relatively aesthetically pleasing, but it's going to be up to the individual on the aesthetics, how much they like or dislike the lovely industrial design DIY kind of look there. I believe you can get the cups. They'll do limited run cups with different colors, I believe, but I think it's more or less you get what you get. I'm using an aftermarket peri-opt cable with these, so that's not the part for the aesthetic. The cable that it comes with is nice. It's not the most kind of, it holds its shape pretty decently, and it's good, and it's kind of rough. It's not the smoothest feeling coating on the wires, but it gets the job done, and it's well made and well put together. And I guess going back into build and aesthetics, so moving on to comfort. The comfort of these is actually very surprisingly, they disappear. Like, as soon as I have these on the head, once I have them set, and once I kind of put them on and start listening to music, disappeared off the head. Like, they just, I don't even, they don't, you can, they, depending on how you did the spring steel and on the clamp force, that kind of thing, but for me, once I had it set, they kind of disappear. You feel a little bit on your ears with the pads because of that pleather. It can get a little bit, they don't breathe that great as far as the ear pads, but it's wintertime, so I don't really notice it that much, and it's not really a big deal. Well, I guess final TLDR for comfort is they disappear on the head, and I'd have no problem with comfort. Comfort is actually pretty good. Build and aesthetic. Build is very solid, and I'm not worried about it breaking or anything like that. And aesthetic is going to be hit or miss because it's a very industrial DIY, and it's going to speak to some people and not to others. So moving on to sound, and oh, sound. These are fantastic. Like, truly shockingly fantastic sounding headphones. Like, they just sound awesome. Like, they have a very engaging sound signature. It's very smooth. It's like saying whiskey smooth. They're very easy to get along with, very fun. I felt the highs were very detailed without going into sibilance or any kind of peaks. They were just lovely. The mids were very balanced, but I didn't think that they were the most warm. But I wouldn't say they were sucked out or anything like that, but nor were they overly like pushed forward. They're just kind of maybe a little bit of an elevation there. And then the low end was a very surprising, engaging low end, like very punchy, very thumpy. I was very impressed. I'm using very a lot. But yeah, the Thalia by Erzetich on ears, as far as sound goes, is, in my opinion, a must get your time with these, because, or head time, because these sound lovely, and highly recommend, if you get the opportunity to get a listen with these, to at least get a listen, whether or not you like the aesthetic or build, or however your thoughts are on that. The sound that comes out of these is well worth the effort to try and get a listen. They kind of remind me of if the Cost Porter Pros had like a higher end sound signature, because these things kick it. Like these are fun, they're engaging, and I really loved my time listening with these. From gaming to movies to music, it was all just fantastic. The details in the highs and the upper mids was great for, kind of picking out the sound stage and the imaging and seeing and hearing where things were, and being able to pick apart like certain aspects of tracks with that without it being like this overly detailed monster or overly like in your face with it. It was actually, if I wanted to, I could pick it out, but it was just a very engaging signature without it being overwhelming or fatiguing or anything like that. They're very fun, and I highly recommend getting some ear time with these. So yeah, that being said, moving on to their use case, they are easily powered by pretty much everything that you own. They're meant to be used portably, more or less, and I had no problem powering them off of dongles, off of my phone, off of my iPad, off of any of my random little DAPs or DACs I have like floating around for, like, I have a Griffin. I had some, I was using them off of even just my lovely MacBook Pro back there, just straight out of the freaking power right there, and they just sang. Anything you threw at them, they went with it. I even have them currently plugged into my ECP-T4 with the Spring 3 KTE. So that one, and they just sing. Like, I think that's the biggest takeaway, is that these you forget they're on your head and you just engage with the music and have a great time. And that, to me, is well worth the entry cost, I guess, of whether or not you like the aesthetics or build or price of these. And I will leave links below to their website, non-affiliated, and you can make your own decisions regarding that. And I actually have one of the bigger brothers, the Mania, as well, that I'll be putting out something down the road, so look forward to that. And with that, I think lovely sounding headphones. Fantastic. And yeah, hope everyone has a good rest of their morning, afternoon, evening. Cheers.